Well, good morning. I think today is the 16th day of April 2022. Welcome. It's an Easter day. It's an Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to everybody. My name is Kurt. This is the Good Life Meditation, my daily endeavor to remember my objectives and principles for life, that is, and to see how I'm doing applying them to yesterday and to plan for today. Let's do it. I slept in. What? Who? Me? I did. I slept very well last night, and when the alarm went off at 5 a.m., I hit the off button and slept for another 45 minutes. I can't remember the last time I did that. Years and years and years since I've slept in more than 5 minutes. 10 minutes at most. Kind of an interesting day. To start off like that. Do I feel any more rested? A little more. I think I would have. I feel off put. I feel like I blew my schedule. Like everything is shifted. I should be done with this. My Bible read, my journal uploaded, my dog's fed, or I'm nearly fed by now. I've been nearly at that point. Well, anyway, okay. Other than that, how was yesterday? It was a good day. I had some moments at Trader Joe's when I was feeling a little overwhelmed by the crowd. And I was all done shopping, but Yumiko was done finding stuff that she needed. So I kind of just disconnected my brain. And walked like a zombie. That's a good way to do it. Yeah. So in the past, Yumiko would have known that I had enough. She probably said it's a good detective anyway. She knows me that well. But I don't do that anymore. I don't make a visible fuss or fret if I'm uncomfortable. I just move through it. Was there anything else? It was a good day. It was a good day yesterday. Okay, let's do the good life. 7 objectives. To always be ready to die with my affairs, my relationships, and my work, my life's work. To always be vigilant with my time, guarding of how I use it, precious in its consumption, effective towards good ends. To work on my life objectives, to make sure that they are reasonable and sound, and to develop good principles towards those ends, to use towards those ends. To develop good emotional reactions so that I don't react so that I do react well to life, even to the horror. And to do good things throughout the day. Just little things to make the world a better place. To see where my limits lie. And to be careful that when I trespass over the limits that I realize that my efforts may be in vain. Or they may just be contributions to entropy. And to do just one thing at a time. And to do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. "30 principles. To always be fighting against what I think is true and what others propose is being true. To doubt, question, to be deliberate in my reasoning, to be logical, to be objective. To remember that I don't seem to have a soul, and neither does anybody else. but we do get a little consciousness for a brief time while we're here. And to cherish that quite mortal fact and mortal moment, these mortal moments. And not tell myself of more. To remember that as close as I may be to my family, my friends, the people in my life, my coworkers, there's always an awful void between us that will never be crossed. It's like a deep, forbidding sea between rocks where we stand. And to remind myself that the things that I think are right and the things that I think are wrong are merely my opinions about said things. These things are not absolutely right or wrong in their own right. The universe has no record, no prescriptive record of what justice entails, what justice is. It has only consequences. Consequences are only meaningful where survival is only meaningful in terms of the reward being life, where survival is achieved. So we have to build our own right and wrong, our own measures of good and evil, our own laws, and recognize them to agreement that they're worthwhile. And then set up institutions, covenants, agreements amongst ourselves to prefer the lawful rather than the unlawful. We can't rely on any overarching, overseen oversight. A lot of overs in there. We have to do it ourselves. And that during the course of life, I will continue always to pursue my role as a father, which is my first purpose, in concert with my wife. And then to also be a virtuous human being to the best of my ability, improving the happiness and the wellness, the well-being, aka the happiness of others, particularly those who can think and suffer, including animals. To keep in mind that everything is made of little pieces held together with bonds, and that those bonds are visible and, is that the right word? Come apart, likely to come apart, tending to come apart, unstable. And that this structure that I am, that contains my little me, my little consciousness, and no soul, will very soon dissolve away, fall to pieces, be gone forever. Not the material, but the man within. Just like you will too. No forever for either of us. And remember that everything and everyone has some particular nature, its way of being, its momentum, not momentum. It's inertia. It's energy. It's the way it unfolds, the way that it interacts with everything. And if I can pick that out and discover that, then I'm ahead of the curve. I can anticipate next moves or next places, next decisions maybe. And to remember that there is no such thing as free will. It's a strange thing that we can make any choice we want. We have that power seemingly. But in fact, the decisions that we make are always the only decisions that we could have ever actually made. Strange thing, that. To strive to be mature, where I remember my failures and my successes and capitalize on the latter. Did I say that right? Or to capitalize on the successes, to make use of that, of where I know I've done things well, and to avoid the failures. That's a mature person. You can only get there through time. It's hard to acquire maturity from others. Some pull it off to a degree, learning from their own, the success of others. I want to be a social human being, being a part of a family and a work unit, a community, a species. I want to be very careful with how I speak, and the words that I choose, and the sentences that I construct, and also how I write. Being very deliberate in my written communication as well, very clear in my thought. To be someone who consumes less, takes smaller portions, gets by with being a little bit hungry. And to remember that there's just terrible, horrible things happening all around us all the time. And to be prepared to chip in, to alleviate that pain and suffering. And to be prepared for when that comes for me. And it does for all of us. To greater and lesser degrees. And to be ready to carry whatever responsibilities I have assumed. To bear those, shoulder those responsibilities well. And to not let my upset out, to keep it within, to prevent it from escaping into the world and upsetting others, but to keep it within, manage it within, to hold in whatever pain I feel. Doesn't mean I can't talk to people, doesn't mean I can't have a reassuring moment, but I'll do so in a way that won't hurt others or use other people as the receptacles to receive my pain. Instead, I will work with others to help alleviate it, but not give it to them. There's a difference. I won't distract myself from the seeming emptiness of the universe, the apparent evidence. Is it evidence? Lack of evidence of any guiding entity or agency in the universe, any God. It appears that there are no such things, or if they are out there, then they are quite well hidden. so I won't fool myself. The universe appears to be empty. We seem to be alone. And that makes us on our own. It's up to us to do our best. To be satisfied where I am now, with who I am now, and with what I'm doing right now. And not wanting in vain to be, do, or become someone else. I didn't say that right. To not want in vain to be someone else, be somewhere else, or be doing something else other than what I'm doing right now. All the while, though, striving towards some better place and end. And way of in self. Better place, end, and self. I like that. To be prepared to step on the path of wildness, which is a way forward into a new life. I'm on that path now. It's fun. Getting ready to go back to Japan. To remember to address the deep risk of life, the risk of not attending to my curiosity and my interest in living well. In addition to the surface level, the easy stuff of home and education and family and security. I know they're not easy, but they're easier than going deep. To not do things such as be a liar, to believe things too easily, to recognize and avoid using faith, which is not a virtue, where faith is defined as belief that is founded upon the fact of belief, which is quite circular, has no depth, and can be used to believe absolutely anything. We could use faith to believe that God exists, and we could also use faith to disbelieve in God, which renders faith a not very useful tool to ascertain what is really true, if it can arrive at contradictory conclusions with the same weight. The same weight. To not toy with superstition, to not be bowled over by dogma, to not be unduly impressed with authority, and to never ever gossip. And to realize that to engage in any of those soils us in a way, makes us, as I like to say, damned. To remember that after death, that's the end. There is no after death. I like that best of all. All kinds of interesting titles today. Well, I mean, there is after death for those that are left behind, but not for those who die. That's the end. So, I won't expect to see my family again. I won't have it hope to make amends with any unfinished business. And I certainly won't expect justice to be met or served after death. To seek after at least one great life adventure, something to rest my hat upon, to be the centerpiece of my living, the story that becomes my life, the story that I tell, the story that is me. And then to be ready to write down whatever words come through life by way of inspiration or motivation, to recognize that Or deliberation, right? You can do it that way too. There's a shelf life for ideas, and it's a half-life, and it's measured in seconds or minutes. Got to be prepared to get it down, all the ideas in our head. Otherwise it's gone, usually forever. To remember that when I strive after things, I usually miss. And that's okay. Sometimes I get a bullseye, but usually it's a miss. No. Usually I don't miss the target altogether. I just don't get the bullseye. To remember that life is a uphill climb. Up, up, up we go. And that this is an arena where we can use our principles to eke out a better life. And to remind myself again that less is better. And maybe nothing is sometimes enough. And to seek after fun, to have a good time, a healthy, hearty, good time. And remembering that that's like a teeter-totter in a way. No, it's not like a teeter-totter. It's just that image just came up, but I don't think it applies. Happiness is sometimes most pure and most delicious in the anticipation and in the remembrance. The moment of now, when we're experiencing it, is fraught with realities, things that don't quite go right, bullseye misses, the tough little things of keeping away the entropy, keeping away chaos. That's the moment of now that we're in. So experiencing that vacation in Hawaii, though it may be fun, is also difficult sometimes. But anticipating that family adventure in Hawaii, there's something delicious. And remembering it afterwards, there's something sweeter too. That was my good life creed. 7 objectives and 30 principles. Now, the plan for the day. It's a Sunday. All our chores are done. All our shopping is done. Yumiko and I today, we're going to go see a movie together. I think we're going to go out for breakfast too. We'll probably go to Yellow Hat. We seem to like that place. It's good food, good restaurant, good people. It's good to find a good place. The kind of thing that we'll miss after we're back in Japan. The retrospect again. Although I do have to say, there's something to be said for eating a breakfast that's quite delicious in the moment, rather than the remembrance of a breakfast, as yummy as it may have been. I'm not anticipating getting ambushed today by anything, although I know that's when I need to watch out. So I'll keep my acuity at the ready. I'll keep my temperance in hand. I'll be ready to swallow down whatever reaction comes up. If someone swipes me off in the highway, tries to cut in, as they often do here in Menifee because of the poor city streets. The city's growing so fast that we've outgrown the streets. I'll just wave them in. And I'm going to enjoy my day with my wife. It'll be a good day. I hope it's a good day for you too. Take care. Be safe, but not too safe.